sometimes when we read the Bible, we read it in segmented stories, and we forget that there are events that led up to these events, right? Now, I have a really special place in my heart for Lazarus and his sisters, Mary and Martha. We see them several times in the Gospels, and every time we see them, they're in their home. And Lazarus and Mary and Martha were definitely Jesus's very close friends. He stayed at their house anytime that he was nearby. He had many meals there. The first time we're introduced to this family is in Luke 10. Maybe you remember the story where Mary is serving and Martha is sitting at Jesus's feet. And, she kind of complains to Jesus that Mary isn't helping her. And we find Jesus kind of reprimanding Martha. And he says that Mary has chosen the better thing. You know that story? Okay. The second time that we see them is in John 11. And here, Lazarus is sick. And the sisters get a message to Jesus. And they tell him, the one that you love is sick. And they say, please come. And Jesus gets the message. And he waits 3 days before he goes to Bethany. And Lazarus dies. And when Jesus gets there, Mary and Martha they're distraught. And Jesus enters the town, and the Bible tells us that he has an individual encounter with each one of them. And both of them say to him some version of, Lord, you're here now, but if you had been here before, why? They're struggling with this feeling that God had shown up late to their situation. Have you ever felt like God was late to your situation? But we know and we're encouraged when we read this story that God is never late. He just doesn't exactly run on our schedule, right? And so in John 11, Jesus leads them to the tomb, and we have this epic moment where he announces that he is the resurrection and the life. Throughout the book of John, he has all these I am statements. And this is the big one where he says, I am the resurrection and the life. And he says, Lazarus, come out of the grave. And Lazarus comes out of the grave. Their brother, who was dead for 4 days, was raised to life in front of their eyes. And the Bible says that many believed in Jesus because of what they saw that day. Okay, so now we turn the page and we come to John chapter 12. It says this. 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany where Lazarus lived, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. Here a dinner was given in Jesus' honor. Martha served while Lazarus was among those reclining at the table with him. Then Mary took about a pint of pure nard, an expensive perfume. She poured it on Jesus' feet and wiped his feet with her hair, and the whole house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, who was later to betray him, objected. Why wasn't this perfume sold and the money given to the poor? It was worth a year's wages. He did not say this because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. As a keeper of the money bag, he used to help himself to whatever was put into it. Leave her alone, Jesus replied. It was intended that she should save this perfume for the day of my burial. You will always have the poor among you, but you will not always have me. And scholars say that chapter 12, between chapter 11 and chapter 12, is somewhere between a few days to a few weeks later. So it's still very fresh, this gift of life that Jesus has literally given back to them. And Jesus has returned to their home, and they're throwing a dinner party in his honor. And I just imagine that it's like a Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead dinner party, okay? And the Bible tells us, we just read it, that Lazarus is well, and he's reclining at the table. And the disciples are there, and Martha is doing what she does best. She's serving in her gift. She has prepared a feast for at least 14 people that are there. And Mary enters the scene. And the Bible tells us that she breaks open this jar of very expensive perfume, and she begins to wash Jesus' feet with the perfume and dry his feet with her hair. And it says that the whole room was filled with the scent of his perfume. I have a question. Does anybody in here just love perfume or cologne? Like you are a perfume or cologne person? Okay. And, some people, it gives them a headache, and so they're not really into scents. Some people, they're more with the essential oils or whatever. And I know it's even trendy right now that, like, scents are bad for you. Did you know that? It's like inflammation or, I don't know, whatever. I am not a perfume expert or connoisseur, but I do like to have, like, an identifiable scent. I don't know. I have this story of maybe one day when oh God, I can't believe I'm about to say this, like, that one day when I'm not here anymore, that one of my children will, like, smell something that smells like me, okay? I don't know. I read too many books, okay? So one time I was gifted this bottle of perfume. I brought it out here to share it with you. This is called Baccarat Rouge 540. Okay, so you know it. Okay. The person that gave it to me several years ago, they were like, this is the up-and-coming scent. You need to have this bottle of perfume. And I, of course, looked it up because I wanted to know. It's very expensive. Very expensive. So a few days later, Stephen and I are going on a date. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try it out. So I do my normal 2 full sprays, So I'm like, shh, and I do this, and I go, shh. And some of you have this perfume, I got in the car. Let me just say, we had to ride to the restaurant with the windows down because it was so strong. I actually love this perfume. This is my scent that I'm hoping my kids will remember. I wear it almost every day, but, like, the tiniest half spray, because now I don't smell it anymore, and I'm always scared that people are gonna be like, what is that smell? So, like, half spray. And my friend was right, and as you know, I read one article that said that this is one of the world's cult perfumes. And today, there are so many dupes because everyone is trying to replicate this scent, all the way down to Bath and Body Works. So this is called In the Stars. And it will cost you $16.95. So what is the difference between these two? What's the difference between these two? I did a little work. I did a little research for you. So besides the fact that this is basically somebody's life work, okay? This, like, scent is everything to them. It's like, there's like the wine person, like a sommelier. Is that how you say that word? There are perfume people. I'm not even gonna try to print it. You can look it up. Chat GPT. But somebody spent hours troubleshooting Baccarat Rouge 540. I mean, it's notes of saffron and hints of sandalwood and layers of amber and citrus until they came up with what some might say is the perfect perfume. And besides the fact that this is somebody's life work, so we'll set that part aside, this one costs. I mean, maybe more than 20 times as much as this one costs. But do you know what the biggest difference between these two is? And maybe the person who came up with this scent would be insulted by what I'm about to say because there's, like, layers and hints and notes and whatever, all things about perfume. It's the amount of water. This one is watered down. And in our passage, I think that we find Mary and Martha bringing Jesus their absolute all. Martha's not complaining about what Mary's doing. She's doing what she does. She's hosting people. She's serving them. And Mary comes in and she worships Jesus by breaking a bottle of expensive perfume. Both of them are sacrificing something precious to them. Martha is sacrificing her time. Mary is sacrificing a costly bottle of perfume. And why are they doing this? Because just days before, They were in the lowest moments of their lives when Jesus showed up. He showed up late, but he let them know that it was not over. Their brother had been dead for 4 days. Like, funeral's over, all the nice words have been said about Lazarus. He's gone, he's buried, the tomb is closed, and Jesus shows up and he says, let me show you guys, I'm not only the bread of life, I'm not only the good shepherd, I'm not only the way, the truth, and the life. He says, I am the resurrection. And they saw that, they experienced it with their own lives. And something that they had walked away from, they'd given up on, they'd let go of and accepted that it was dead. Jesus gave it back to them, their brother. I want to show you one more verse. Paul wrote this in 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 2:14 and 15, he says, but thank God, he has made us his captives and continues to lead us along in Christ's triumphal procession. Now he uses us to spread the knowledge of Christ everywhere like sweet perfume. He says our lives are like a Christ-like fragrance rising up to God. And I want you to know that when you bring your best to God, when you say, I'm not watering it down, the gospel goes forth like a sweet smelling aroma, so strong you might have to roll the windows down. But not only for those around us, our lives become like a fragrance that's rising up to Christ as he accepts our sacrifice. When Mary poured out the perfume, the entire house was filled with the scent because she used the good stuff. She wasn't going to hold back from the one who had resurrected her brother from the dead. Worship is expensive. And I want to remind you of that so that on the days when it feels hard, on the days where you wonder if what you're doing matters, do these people even care? Does what I do matter? I want you to remember why you're doing what you're doing and why you're bringing your best to Jesus.
Thanks for watching. I hope that encouraged you today. Make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss out on other videos like this, and I will see you back here next time.